What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Haak, the Five Deuce Gun, coming to y'all with a little bit of a somber video today. I come to y'all with this video today, pretty much talking about WWE 2K19. Now, I had the opportunity to play around with the game for a little bit because a friend of mine got an early copy. You know, he works, for people, and, I ain't trying to blow up the spot or nothing, but he worked with some folks, and, he got a copy, so we was playing it. And I just gotta say that the game looks good, it moves good, they sped up some of the animations. So if you're used to WWE 2K17, WWE 2K18 with the new graphics engine, and how it was kind of slow, I don't really mind the slowness because at the end of the day, we are playing a wrestling game, and even though there are a bunch of arcadey features and things of that in there, it doesn't move around like Shut Your Mouth or Know Your Role and Here Comes the Pain and stuff like that, to where it was like you could tell it was arcadey because of how fast it moved and the wonky animations. Now, those games were some of the best in the series, especially for the PlayStation, because we came off the Nintendo 64 with WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy and WCW NWO World Tour and WCW NWO Revenge featuring the NWO. And I apologize for all the sniffing, man. I got a little bit of a cold. Actually, I don't think it's a cold. I'm just congested. That's neither here nor there. Here's my gripe. Before I start talking about the bad stuff, let me just give a couple of okays. The roster, no problem. Graphic designs, whether they scan these guys and put the animations in like they did with 2K. The basketball series did a good job of the graphics. I really don't have a gripe with anything. I do have a gripe with the fact that we didn't have a developer disc or some developer code where we had like an early access copy. Like the guy, they already have these games at all the stores and they're just sitting in boxes saying, street dated until whatever. I don't work for a video game company, so I don't have it. If I had it, I'd be doing an unboxing video right now, but that's neither here nor there. This was a real copy of the game, so one thing that I can say is going to have a lot of people going crazy on the Reddit columns and all the little fan sites and all the Metacritics. That Wyatt complex joint is like no interactivity at the Wyatt compound. I'm sorry to say it. I apologize to spoil that part for people. Some of you probably already know. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of YouTubers out there that are way bigger than I am that got early access copies that you guys have seen videos of, and they've showed you like match types and the title screen and all that type of stuff. I didn't film anything because I didn't want to get any copyright strikes on my page or nothing like that. We were just enjoying the game. He didn't want to turn the music off and all that stuff, so we just played the game. When I get my copy, which I'm going to find out if the GameStop has them in stock tomorrow, if they have them there, I'm going to see if I can talk to the manager there and just get my copy early. But if not, then I'll have mine Friday, and I'll do an unboxing video and do some gameplay streaming on my Twitch channel and here on my YouTube page. But back to my commentary here, it's like that word that I just used, commentary. For years, I've had an issue with having like horrible ass commentary. Like on one end, it just seemed vague, to say the least. Like on one end, the shit that you see on the game and the stuff that goes down on that joint, it's not consistent with what the three-man commentary team is actually talking about, or the enthusiasm or the emotion that's given. Like if you watch a television program and you watch Raw or SmackDown, or if you watch the WWE Network and you watch 205 Live or any of the pay-per-views, and you hear Michael Cole and Renee Young giving commentary and doing their thing, whether it was Booker T, Jerry Lawler, whatever, whoever, you can put any commentary team up there, Adam Graves or whatever, you can put anybody up there. When you hear how they talk, like, oh, that was a crazy shot with the chair, or I just went through the table. When you hear how they say that like in real life, why doesn't that translate when they go into the booth and record commentary? It's like they sit there and like, this is going to be a great match here tonight, and I'm looking down because like I'm pretending to be Cole or the King when they used to show you all the behind the scenes of them recording their commentary. It's like, where is that excitement in their voices for anything that goes on? And then it's not consistent. Case in point, you could do an OMG moment. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to go to an OMG moment. You could just do like a finisher through a table. Like, well, that is technically an OMG moment now. But you could put somebody through a table and the crowd might do the fake holy-ish chant, you know, or this is awesome. Now that's what it was on 2K17, 2K18 and stuff like that. 2K19 is not that consistent. The audience don't even, at least back with the drab commentary on like 2K18 and 2K17 and all the other 2K WWE games for this fact, at least when the commentary was inconsistent and not enthusiastic or emotional enough conveying real WWE authenticity, at least the programmers developed the audience to be like, oh, this is awesome, and do a little chant after a table move or after an OMG moment. When you pull off your finisher, it's like, you remember back in the day on the old SmackDowns when they first put commentary on there with Jerry the King Lawler and JR, Jim Ross. You can even go back to WWF Attitude and WWF Warzone and listen to the commentary on there and how like dull that game was. But like listen to certain cuts. Even the freaking wrestlers like screaming out when they were in pain, or if you put them in a submission move was funny. Like you hear The Rock like, oh damn. Like, come on, you ain't never hear him say all damn on WWE, but the fact that they put those things in the game was crazy. And you go all the way back to PS1 and Nintendo 64, and then you come up to this, and it's like, wow. Some of those games had like better features, better backstage stuff, better storylines. I mean, SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation 1, the story mode, you could play with multiple players, like 2 to 4 people if you had a multi-tap, and it had no ending. It wasn't like a linear ending. You know how many, it's people still playing that game right now, seeing shit on that joint that they never see before, and that shit like 20-something years old. That shit's super old. So if there's so many people that's still discovering new cutscenes and new paths to discover on SmackDown 2, then what the hell is going on with all these story modes and career modes on the 2K games? When it was WWE SmackDown versus Raw series and THQ and Ukes were still killing it, I enjoyed those games. As soon as 2K got it, it was just like, bro, I hope they don't just put this on the back burner because they have the success of the NBA 2K series and how easy they've shut down NBA Live in terms of like when Live was gone on that hiatus back then. It's like, I hope they don't just put this game on the back burner and just like, all right, well, Ukes is going to make it. We just put the 2K thing on there, bam, put it out. That's what they did for the first couple of WWE 2K games, like for 2K12 and 2K13. In my opinion, they just slapped a publishing logo on that joint, and that's what it was. They did absolutely nothing to that game. And now, when we get back to the commentary, it's just like, it's inconsistent. If I'm doing like regular strikes, like pressing the square button to punch and kick combo, it's like, if I do that multiple times, I get more emotion out of like how they be like, oh, this is just brutality, you gotta stop the match, than if I just like hit a Braun Strowman finisher, or if I do a OMG tackle you through the barricade joint. Like this, they got to get better. The way I'm talking right now, like how like somber, like how regular it is, that's how it sounds on the game. And I've even tweeted to the developers of the 2K games and the WWE 2K and all that, like, are y'all going to do anything about the commentary? Y'all give patches every few weeks and all that stuff about 2K basketball, whether it's like hairstyles that NBA players have incorporated, new lighting effects on their courts at home and away, jersey differentialities. You know, why can't y'all do stuff that updates the game on the wrestling? Why can't, seeing as how we're not allowed to go in and change their, as far as I know, go in and change the wrestlers. Like if a wrestler has a bald head now, like you got Baron Corbin's character in the game with his long hair. So if I wanted to go and shave his head off, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to do all this edit, copy, paste the character, then put him in an alternate costume. Like for what? I can't remember which one it was, but one of the WWE games of a few years back allowed you to alter the wrestlers' finishing moves and alter their attires and stuff like that to accurately reflect what they look like on TV if they portrayed a different image or character as the next game was about to come out. Now with all this patchwork where NBA games and NFL games can patch roster updates, injuries, stat updates, increases and decreases and things of that nature, hot and cold streaks, you have nothing like that to support the wrestling games. You don't have something like they was on a losing streak for this many weeks, so maybe in the power rankings they are this, and that reflects onto the game. It's not even something as simple as that on there. That has to change. And then when you think about like how many fucking years it's been out, and you hear like regular commentary, like case in point, last year when you would play your career mode or even the universe mode and you would start a new show, if you start SmackDown or Raw or whatever like that, they would do the TV intro for it, show you the cutscene, video package, and then like all the explosions will come up. It'll go to the in-game graphics. You'll hear Michael Cole. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most weekly run episodic television show in history. This is WWE Raw. We're coming to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We got a huge card for you tonight. Let's take you to the show. That's how it sounds. Yet I've never one time heard them sound like that. Michael Cole sound like that when they be talking about throwing to a video package about like Connor's cure or about Sujin G. Coleman, like when he just talks regular about like something like that. You're not supposed to be like, and we're here for Sujin G. Coleman, and we're like, you're not supposed to talk like that for, you know, being serious. So that's the way Michael Cole's tone is and every other commentator on the game. There's a couple of little spots because I've heard like Adam Graves, you know, a little bit enthusiastic about finishers, but I've heard them talking more hype as like the commentary when the character comes out, like when a wrestler comes out and you hear the theme music and they're walking down the ring and they're getting announced, you hear more enthusiasm in the voice of Coach and Graves and Michael Cole more than you do when they're actually getting punishment matches. Like you see shit like somebody get choke slammed through the top of the Hell in a Cell. There's a, oh, did you just see that? Stop like that. And that's the thing. That's the thing right there. And you see how WWE, when they had the showcase mode, when you had to play with Stone Cold's story, or you had to go through the Joe and pick with Shawn Michaels and all these different people, and you heard that they actually incorporated the commentary from that actual event into those matches. So when you played those matches, you could hear JR enthusiasm and actual emotion into the match. They have none of that. And that, if you're going to play, all right, this is for everybody that plays the wrestling games. It's a reason why you're playing the wrestling game. You didn't just look and say, oh, a wrestling game came out. I don't even know what wrestling is. Let me get it and play it. No. Everybody knows what the WWE/WWF is. Everybody has played all those games, whether you go back to your Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis with Monday Night Raws and WWF Super WrestleMania and stuff like that, to WrestleMania arcade game, to the very first Warzone, to Attitude, all the way up to where we at right now. You get the game because you're a fan of the product. And I'm not talking about the video game, I'm talking about the product that the video game represents. So you would want it to be as authentic as you could possibly get it. And something as easy as going into a recording studio and recording your voice, going, oh, did you just see that? Like, first of all, maybe it's just me thinking elementary or common sensibly about it, but wouldn't it be smart, and maybe they do this and they just get paid to say, fuck it, I'm just going to read this shit like this, but wouldn't it make sense that all the moves that are incorporated in the game, especially for the top talent that just want to make the roster, their finisher move, their signature move, you know, and stories behind those characters, wouldn't it be smart for them to sit in front of the animated scenes of that shit, that they've already animated that stuff, and have them do the commentary off of that? I'm just saying, because typically when you usually see, like when I said they had the developers joint years ago, when you see the developers joint, you notice they just sitting down reading a piece of paper in the studio booth. Like, they're not even like looking at scenes of the actual product. They're just reading the script. So it's like, yeah, this is a pretty cool thing going on right here. And it's like, what the hell? Even when you got people that are Hollywood actors going into a film studio to record a voiceover for an animated movie, they're watching scenes of the movie inside there while they're doing it so they can emote the emotions that they want to get. So it would make sense to me that if Brock Lesnar, for instance, does the F5 in the video game, they should be sitting in front of a monitor and looking at it with their headsets on and going, and Brock Lesnar, the beast is about to unleash the F5, like something like that, like commentating on what they're seeing and putting the same emotion they would do on a television broadcast into the game that they keep bringing out. I mean, think about it. When you buy an NBA 2K or NBA Live or NFL Madden, do you guys not hear the commentators that they choose to put on those games have emotions of layups, dunks, blocks? Do they not tell stories in between the commentary? Do they not, like, you know, get a little bit riled up when things happen? Do they not talk about fouls and they don't just be like, oh, Kobe Bryant, that was a good crossover, just laid it up right in his face. And the Lakers are up by 2. Oh, look at that. Ray Allen just passed it to Paul Pierce. There's a dunk. We'll be right back after this. First quarter action is over. We'll be back for the second quarter. Like, is that how it is? No. Kevin Harlan and all those guys that's on the 2K joint, the new guys that's doing NBA Live commentary, because they don't have Van Gundy and my man Mike Breen no more, so I can't hear bang when somebody shoot a three-pointer on there no more. But that's neither here nor there. Those, even when bum-ass Chris Collinsworth commentary was on Madden and all that, did he not like sound like the same Chris Collinsworth and say the same type of Chris Collinsworth anecdotal shit on Madden as he do on Channel 10 every Sunday night during the NFL season? I'm just saying. So if you want to have this product coming out, the very biggest gripe for me that it has been there this entire time since 2K taking over the series, and even a little bit during THQ and Ukes towards the end of their bankruptcy and selling off their properties, you got to get the commentary like authentic. First of all, like I said, stomping on somebody on the ground gets more OMG like emotion out the commentator than actually hitting somebody with their signature or finisher move. They barely even call that stuff out. It's not like you see him on the top rope, oh, he's about to deliver a choke slam from the top. Like, nothing like that. And we're this far in technology, we're this far with graphics, we're this far with memory, we're this far in processing speed, and this is the type of product we put out. You look at the Maddens, and how, like, we used to have EA Sports radio show. We used to have the scouting combine doing up, down, left, right, and have to do your created character joint and all that. And that was back on Super Nintendo, a cartridge. Sega Genesis, a cartridge. When you got the original PlayStation, you can get Madden 97 or NHL 97. And I can't remember the guy from NHL 97, but the guy from Madden 97 was James Brown, Pat Summerall, and John Madden himself. And they had, like, full FMV, like the same way you see a real version of me, not a digital animated version of me. You seen a real version of John Madden, Pat Summerall, and James Brown in studio talking about your specific game, your team, the season you're playing, stats, and all that stuff. And that was on Madden 97 in the original joint. Then you slide all the way up here. It's like you can barely see somebody's face when they say it's a halftime take like 20 seconds. And I ain't talking about for motherfuckers who press a button. I'm just saying. That shit like 20 seconds. If I decided like, oh, they said it's halftime, I'm going to go downstairs and grab me something to drink and go back to the joint. Man, if I didn't get the ball during the first half, these niggas going to kick the ball off to me. Because by the time I get back, I'm already sacked. Then had multiple delayed game penalties. It was over. Hold on, man. This lighter sucks. It really does. Look at this. All this fluid. All this fluid. I turned it down. Now back to this. I just can't get over how, like, over the years, I remember like shit was literally a cartridge. You couldn't get it wasn't no, if you bought a Mario or a Madden or anything back then, oh yeah, you can't play with this other team unless you get a downloadable content cartridge or you go get an add-on cartridge. I blame Sega for even putting this shit out there. And y'all might be thinking I'm crazy. Why am I blaming Sega? Let's go back. What was the first game that ever had an add-on that you can click something on that motherfucker to add more features on the game or have more characters or stages and different features from something that you already owned before this came out? Don't worry, I'll give it a few seconds. Okay, it was Sonic and Knuckles. Because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came out as a standalone game, you had it for however long it was out before they announced and released Sonic and Knuckles. When Sonic and Knuckles came out, the cartridge was designed weird. It had like a capture card on the top, and if you open it up, you could stick Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in there and have Knuckles playable on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. You could stick Sonic 2 on that joint too. You just couldn't, it wasn't compatible with Sonic 1, I don't think. But that was the beginning of DLC, if you ask me. That's why I say I blame Sega. Because look how far that idea came. Nothing like that before. There was no Super Street Fighter or Tecmo Bowl or Super Tecmo Basketball, Battletoads Double Dragons, Super Double Dragon 4, Turtles in Time, any of that shit. Go to Genesis, there wasn't no Manhattan Project or, Hyperstone Heist or Power Rangers the movie. None of that shit you could buy, and then it came as a cartridge that you can click something else inside of that motherfucker and it added other features to your game. Now, I'm not talking about any peripheral like a Game Genie or a Game Shark. That's not a game. That's like a cheat code menu, a cheat code option operating system. I'm talking about a full-fledged game that you can pop in and play that thing by itself, and then all of a sudden you can take something else, put it on there, and add more shit to it. That was the first DLC, except it wasn't downloaded. It was connected, cartridge to cartridge. Now, if you may think, like I said, you may think that's a little far-fetched, you might think that's crazy, but think, there wasn't too many games that you could say later on in life that came out on any system, made by any company, publisher, or developer, that integrated that feature of connect this cartridge to this. But all of a sudden, with the inception of Microsoft's Xbox, they got the internet popping. They started Xbox Live, and at first it was just a way to play online with people, friends around the world, people. Next thing you know, PlayStation integrated their network adapter and their hard disk drive, got online with PS2, Final Fantasy 11, Resident Evil Outbreak, and things like that. And yes, I've had those games. Played SOCOM for many hours online and things of that nature. And I never once seen a DLC menu for buying new guns, skins, maps, nothing like that, right? Then all of a sudden, certain games started coming out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and now we got DLC. More costumes, more colors, themes, avatars. Then it gets crazy where companies take out whole parts of shit. They take out stuff that the developer sat and worked on for years, doing what they could do to make it the way they wanted to make it. They present it to the to the publisher. The publisher look at it. Thanks, guys. This is an awesome product. We'll be back to you in a little bit. They go shift through it and be like, oh, we can take this out. This could be bonus mission. This could be bonus content. When you look at DLC, I want you to really understand that maybe more than this, but just my general statistical knowledge, 7 times out of 10, DLC maps more extra story, which is the story that was already there for the original game, and they cut it out. That shit is done by the publisher 7 times out of 10. I could be wrong. It could be 10 times out of 10. It could be 9 times. But just from what I know, at least 7 times out of 10, to cut parts of your story out, to cut parts of your weapons and all that shit out, is not done by the people who make the game. It's done by the people who publishing it wants to make the most money off of it and how to capitalize off their return investment. WWE's been watching this since I was a kid, 85. I was born in 83. And to see, like, if you watch football, you watch basketball, tennis, whatever product that you purchase, if you get FIFA every year, if you get PES, if you get tennis, whatever you get, NHL, whatever, those games are represented to the likeliness of themselves. Now, at least the NHL series for the last few years have been kind of getting back to the live action series, to where you got the guys that do commentary on NBC Sports and NBC for hockey games. They're live, real faces and real likenesses in the game. You see them, they talk between intermissions and things of that nature. That's small, but that's what they used to do back in the day in between intermissions ever since NHL 97. And to have all this new technology and talk, oh, well, these assets have to be used and we don't have this much memory. Bro, those CD-ROMs, those discs was being put on back in the day could barely hold a gig of memory. And yet you had full motion video of these guys in there, and you had full seasons and franchise. The only thing they didn't have was online. So you mean to tell me I can have all these features back, I can have all these live people, y'all could put all these licensees that y'all have, like you got all this ESPN and NFL licenses, but you're not really using it at all. These people's voices are barely heard in the games, let alone you created a digital version or just put a full motion video of them. But you got the exact same company, the exact same developer making games for different sports and adding those features into there and putting those features into there when they were in other games on the exact same company. It makes no sense to me. And now we get back to the WWEs with this whole commentary stuff. Bro, y'all gotta do better. Like, this commentary system stinks. You can't have more of a oh my goodness response to something like a chop or a stomp on the ground 3 times or a punch to the head 3 times or a grapple with the target limb system move 3 times to the arm than you should when somebody do a run you through the table OMG or a dive through the ring ropes tornado DDT a la Sami Zayn outside of the ring, or somebody stack 2 tables and chokes like that you should definitely have way more emotional response to those things than just like a regular fucking thing that happens. But I digress, because as long as motherfuckers keep coming out their pocket and spending all that bread to get whatever versions of that shit they want to get, it's not going to change. Like, well, that's one thing that people said, and you see like this percentage of the community say this and this percentage of the community say that, but look at how much copies sold. Look how much revenue came in off the ones that and it's nothing, none of those features that the people have been asking for 10 plus years are in these games. None of the things that they, put they they go to these shows and pay money to tickets to go down there and see their superstars or whatever like that. And it's like, yeah, if I get the game, it's more than just playing with the likeness of the character. If you can do patchwork updates to improve, quality of life things and smooth things out, then they should damn sure be able to do patchwork updates to be able to incorporate real shit. EA did a good job with the football series by always having like up-to-date real shit with the season of what's going on in the actual NFL added into the game every week. So what just happened tonight with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, the stats, the plays, and the commentaries that were made on Monday Night Football, they're going to get incorporated by Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis on Madden, and you're going to get a patch update tomorrow or Wednesday, and that new commentary is going to be in there. You guys start playing the exhibition game against your friends. Y'all play with Kansas City or Denver. They're going to not make up, but they're going to talk about Monday's performance. They're going to talk about his last game and what he did, this, and the third, and it had nothing to do with any Madden game that you played, no season or franchise. They just incorporate that. Y'all steal everything else. Y'all y'all piggyback ideas off each other and take features from other games and put them on there, so that there you go. Use your head. Have patchwork updates that'll actually give you guys better commentary. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis go into the commentary booth and record new commentary for Madden every week during the season. They've been doing that for the last 3 years. Even when it was Brandon Gaudin and other people, before they was going in there changing the commentary up. WWE got weekly shows, 2 weekly shows that come on USA Network and SmackDown Live and Raw. Different things are happening all the time, and the universe mode could incorporate that, seeing as how that's an offline solo player experience. But that's just me. Maybe I should be working for the company as just somebody that sits in the office and throw a tennis ball back and forth saying, here go this paperwork that I put together 30 years ago. Here go the paperwork I put together 10 years ago. They pretty much match up in what people want in these games, and y'all ain't did nothing yet. Here's my crazy ass idea. Why don't you try some of this stuff? You think you're successful now? Maybe if you incorporate some of the stuff that fans actually want into their titles, not just the wrestling ones, but every title across the board, especially sports titles, because those ones are the ones that people are actually more relatable to. Not saying that Call of Duty for people who was in military action and battlefields is not relatable, but you watch sports on a daily basis around the world, whether it's snooker, badminton, golf, tennis, lacrosse, soccer, hockey, football. It doesn't matter. You're watching somebody watching some type of sport right now, boxing, MMA. If you're going to create a virtual experience of this or create a video game experience of these sports, then the people who are fans of those sports are not just saying, oh, look, I walked into a game store today and I was going to get Tetris, but then I saw they got something called Madden NFL football, and I never seen football, so let me just pick this up. I don't know what football is. Like, no, sports games don't get sold like that. IPs that, like Dead Cells and things like Wolfensteins and Resident Evils, those things that you'll walk in and be like, what the hell is this? If they got it played on, I remember that's how I was when I first saw Resident Evil inside of a Funko Land. I walked in there to get something else for the PlayStation. I was getting Raiden Project, I believe, in Philosoma. And I happened to be looking at the TV that they had this game on. I'm like, what is this? Like, dogs jumping through windows, zombies biting you. And I'm like, yo, this joint crazy. What is this? Like, this is called Resident Evil. And I looked at that box, and at the bottom of it, I saw, at first on the front, I thought it was Bruce Campbell. Like, the Resident Evil guy, he on there. He looked like Bruce Campbell on the front of the original Resident Evil box. That's when PlayStation games used to come in them long-ass jewel cases. Now, when I saw it and I looked down at the bottom right of that box, it said Capcom. I was like, well, I know Capcom to do Street Fighter, Mega Man, DuckTales, Chip and Dale's and all that. This is some movie horror shit done by Capcom. This might be hot. I'm not too disappointed in Capcom games. Let me go cop this joint. And look what happened to Resident Evil. See, stuff like that happens with those type of titles, like Adventure Man titles or Castlevania titles and shooter titles. Like, you walk in there like, I wasn't really going to get this, but this joint look hot. I might cop it. It don't happen like that with sports, like where people don't know what the hell this is, never heard of nothing. No, you go in there knowing what hockey is. You go in there knowing what Madden is because you know what football is. You know what hockey is. You know what tennis is. So represent those things better, because you suck at doing it for the most part. A lot of these games, even 2K, yeah, you might sell a lot of copies, but y'all got a whole lot more wrong with your game than just virtual currency microtransactions. Trust me when I tell you. If NBA Live could take all those years off, then come back and have 18 be successful as it was, then turn right back around, and not only in my opinion, but a lot of other people that put it out there, people that got more credible channels and say and work with these companies and give them ideas and all that than I do, and their animations on live are better than 2K's. Yep, I said it. You might just have to go ahead and play both. I got both of them, so, and I enjoy playing both of them. It's not one over the other, but I can guarantee you, like, when it comes to the odds, I'm going to be playing live because live is a funner game to play. Whether I'm playing by myself or whether I'm playing online against people or whether I'm doing co-op. I just have a funner time. I don't know what to tell you. But I guarantee you, if the people that doing commentary, whether they're doing a special guest on 2K and they got Kobe and all them dudes doing special guest commentary some nights, or whether it's just a regular commentary team, if those dudes talk like Michael Cole and Graves and Coach and all them on the wrestling Jones, oh yeah, well, there was a dunk. Vince Carter really 360 that one. All right. Bro, I wouldn't like them, John. I'd be saying the same thing. It's bad enough that they don't really represent the game and how glitchy graphic and animations got people jumping unrealistic and doing all this weird stuff. But they're telling you there's a difference of 3 different game types: arcade, simulation, and competitive. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter which one of those you put it on. There's just more of a chance of a screw job with the levels of your sliders, making your characters make less catches or fumble the ball more or get injured more frequently. So other than that, what do you guys have that stands there as like the stand? People would rather watch a marathon of throwback NFL games than sit down and play a whole NFL season of Madden, because y'all take so much stuff out of it. And then you act like y'all overhauled so much stuff, but all you did was just add an animational background in the back. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's virtually identical. 2K, you guys got to step your game up. You got features that are prevalent on your basketball series that are not prevalent in your wrestling series, such as weekly patch updates, whether you're playing ultimate cards or whether it's like smoothing out things that's happening in the game. I don't see stuff like that for WWE. Maybe I'm blind. Tell me what you think in the comments below, man. It's your boy Haak the Fire Dude's Gun. I'd like to thank y'all for watching this joint. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you like to do, man. And as always, in blessings, I would like to give you some on pardons of being blessed and less stressed. Fear no evil and stay vigilant, man. Don't let nobody take you off your dean. Holla at your boy.